I'm Matt.
I'm Shane.
And if you like what you hear, make sure you hit that thumbs up button real hard, and make sure you subscribe to Comic Movie Marks.
And also click that little bell for all of the notifications.
Whee!
Always remember,
If Trailer Trash can do it,
anyone can do it.
hello and welcome everyone to another Comic Movie Marks video.
Today we are talking about the idiots who think the Snydercut does not exist. And we didn't do a mic check this time, so I'm glad this is working.
Mic check. 1 2 1
1
2
2 1 2. Can you hear us? Is the mic facing the right way? All right, I think we're good.
Yes, it is.
We're good.
It appears to be, yes. Okay. Hello and welcome everyone to another Comic Movie Marks video.
Today we're going to talk about idiots who
can't operate a microphone.
Yeah, pretty much. Lost it. All right. Yeah, so that's what we're talking about. Idiots who think the Snyder Cut does not exist.
Or the arguments for against the Snyder Cut anyway. Because awesome to see. At this point, I can't tell if their trolls are legitimately incapable of understanding anything outside their realm. I'm pretty sure most of the time it's trolls, so we're just gonna have fun with this. We're not gonna give the trolls too much time or too much legitimacy at all, but it is fun. So we got kind of a top 6 plus 1,
a bonus.
Yeah, a bonus. You would think that would be just a top 7 list, but not here. Not with the Comic Movie Marks. We do things differently.
We can barely count to 7, so 6 plus 1.
And so we're gonna kick this bitch off.
Never go full retard.
This got a little bit of my attention recently. I've seen people say that, oh, you don't understand the filming process. Oh, well, guess what, motherfucker? We have something on our side that beats anything on your side. He's called Jay Oliva. Guess what? He's directed movies before. Guess what? He's a storyboard artist for the goddamn movie that we're talking about the whole time.
Who? The fucking nobody?
That fucking nobody is
Jay Oliva.
We call him Baba Yaga.
The boogeyman?
Jay.
We'll come for you. And you will do nothing because you can do nothing. So get the fuck out of my sight.
The Snyder Cut does not exist. It just can't. Yeah, this one just, as most of these do, fucking annoy me, and they have to be trolls because you need to take the word of someone who actually does know the filmmaking process and has been saying and championing this whole thing of, yes, the Snyder Cut exists, don't know if we're gonna see it, I want to see it, all sorts of shit. And he does know the movie making process. That's the funny thing, is it's like someone goes to, probably takes a class in high school, a movie class, and they're now all of a sudden they're like, I know how the movie works. I know business. Like, fuck off, dude. I just did the jerk off sign. I forgot this isn't a live recording, but that's basically what you can picture.
They got a liberal arts degree and shit, so they understand all that.
Right.
What's the matter with you people? You're sad that people are mean? Well, I'm sorry. The world isn't one big liberal arts college campus.
They get the fundamentals, you know, how it all fucking works, right? Right? Because they took a class that means fucking nothing in the real world. Sorry if you're taking that, but don't mean to shatter your hopes, but philosophy, liberal arts, don't do anything. Because all you could do is become a liberal arts teacher and a fucking philosophy teacher. Guess what? That's it. That's the only prospects you have.
And the truth shall set you free.
I think we're actually following this guy, and it's kind of interesting that they went this route, but film clickbait. They usually go through the article so you don't have to, and tell you synopsis of what the article's about and how much bullshit is in it. And I've seen them a couple times. I'm like, yeah, that's a great idea. That's a fantastic idea. Well, they decided to spew a little bit of bullshit and say that it's basically a fantasy that dreamed up by a group of people and it does not exist. And Jay Oliva kicks it off with one that I thought was hilarious. He says, it's funny for something they think that doesn't exist. They all like to write articles about it. I guess we'll be seeing lots more articles about unicorns in the future. Hashtag truth about unicorns.
Jordan face back, swoosh, and that's the game!
Nice.
Deadpool would be happy.
Yes.
Jay Oliva pretty much eviscerates this guy, like he was there. He saw it, things he saw, the cuts that he did see. Again, this is going to be some kind of repeating history, but this is just what these people have a problem with. They don't look up history, so you kind of have to keep repeating it because these people don't read.
And there was a time in this country, a long time ago, when reading wasn't just for fags.
Or they don't pay attention to the people they should be paying attention to. They pay attention to a blogger or some other jackass that thinks they have inside knowledge of the situation. And, of course, people keep saying to Jay Oliva, you don't understand the process. Jay Oliva says, or maybe I know a bit more about the subject than say, oh, I don't know, someone who didn't work on the film, or the director since 2011, or who worked on both DC and Marvel films and know a thing or two about how they are made. Basically solidifying the fact that he knows what the fuck he is talking about.
Fuck you, fuck you, fuck you. You're cool. And fuck you, I'm out.
Some of this stuff is going to overlap a little bit here, but again, people don't seem to understand what was done. And you could tell if you just looked a little bit of stuff up, a little bit of information, you can see that the cut is out there. It exists. Deal with it. And it's a lot farther than we all think it is.
Remember, there are no stupid questions, just stupid people.
Some dickbags have actually come out and say, why would anybody believe you? Why? Why would anybody believe you, Jay Oliva? Why would anybody take anything you have to say serious?
I don't want to live on this planet anymore.
Yeah, this is one of my favorite ones. Why would you trust a storyboard artist that it actually exists? Oh, fuck, I don't know. Why would you trust a fucking blogger who has a clickbait title that's saying, no, it doesn't exist? Or some dumb fuck who writes for what should be a legitimate website and pretty much no longer is, and says, oh, no, my claim source or whatever, the anonymous source says that it doesn't exist. It's never going to come out. Or how about we trust someone who was a part of the process and actually worked on the film and actually drew up the storyboards and actually worked closely with Zack Snyder and actually talked with him and knew his fucking plan. Oh, I don't know. Not that guy.
Fuck that guy.
This blows me away.
What the hell is wrong with you people?
Yeah, this guy here on Twitter, it's amazing how people just take his word for it. And Jay Oliva answers him, why wouldn't they? I've got nothing to gain because I'm stating the truth. If I was lying, any number of people involved in the movie could have called me out on it. I'm not some anonymous source.
Boom. Mic drop.
Facial on the floor, total facial.
That's how you do it right there. Again, he has nothing to gain. I see some people say, oh, it's because Snyder's going to give him a job. Motherfucker, he works for everybody. He just doesn't work for DC. Look up his IMDb. He's all over the fucking place. He did Thor, Ragnarok, which apparently they didn't let him do a lot of work on that one because that movie sucked ass. But he's all over the place. He does Marvel. He does animated. He does DC work as well. I think he was talking about he also does stuff for DreamWorks as well. He is all over the place. He doesn't have any reason to say this shit. He doesn't have like job security to gain by saying this. Snyder isn't the only person that could possibly bring him along. It's just ridiculous. If anything, this would make him lose a job at DC if they're trying to hide this and keep this thing down. He's the one stoking the flames. So he would lose. He would lose that extra studio to have as a possibility for future job, for future work. If anything, if you want to say anything, that could happen.
Do you understand the words that are coming out of my mouth?
Like he said, he's not an anonymous source. He's not some douchebag on Reddit. He's not some other douchebag with a fucking fake pen name. He's coming out from his Twitter defending this, flat out saying, no, this exists. Can't you tell the amount of risk that if he was wrong or lying that is out there for him to just run his own name through the mud? That would be a stupid career move if he was wrong. But most other people who, for some reason, everyone will buy their bullshit, even though it's an anonymous source or whoever the fucking, Jack Skellington penning up some bullshit on Screen Rant or whatever the fuck.
Edward Nigma.
Yeah, Edward Nigma. Like, oh no, let's buy the fact that they say it's true.
You know I don't speak Spanish. In English, please.
This one's hilarious. It's a rough cut. It's assembly cut. It's a cut. Oh my God. What does that mean? What does assembly cut mean? I'm just curious, because everybody likes to throw around assembly cut, rough cut, all this other shit, but do they actually get what that even means?
Yeah, no, they don't. This actually is one of my favorites too, because they're almost like half saying, yeah, it possibly exists, but it's an assembly cut. It's not a full fucking thing. And we've talked about this before on our show. We know it's not the full fucking thing. We know it's not fully complete with all the visual effects and everything, and it's just going to come out exactly what should have been put out in the theaters. No, we know that. But we also know that Snyder showed the execs at WB some version of the film. Some version. So that is out there.
Then, after you do that, then you work on the director's cut, which requires CGI work, ADR work, color grading. That one, again, Jay Oliva, the storyboard artist you should not trust, is saying out there that way Zack does it, the way filmmaking works this day, Zack Snyder does not create his movies in the edit bay. He creates them there. They basically go from the camera to getting worked on immediately with a temporary score and some visual effects. There's so much out there. Like, you have to be blind to not be able to notice there's so many leaked scenes that are out of finished versions or almost finished versions of parts of Justice League that we never saw. What was in the trailer? All those parts of the trailer that weren't there. All the different changes to the story. Where was it? It's all finished VFX. All of it. Even the Superman scenes that we got in the DVD, the package, those little 2 extra Superman scenes, those were add-ons. Those were Snyder scenes. So there is a cut, and it's a lot farther along than we thought, and it's way past an assembly cut. I don't know how you can think it's an assembly cut at this point, because what did he show? What did he show to his execs? Jay Oliva's even pointing this out. What did he show to executives?
Fuckface. First, take a big step back and literally fuck your own face!
What did Whedon chop up to get to his version?
Yep, exactly.
Zack Snyder's director's cut.
Are you blind or just stupid? Which of the two?
I guess this would be my runner-up of my favorite one. The theatrical cut is the Snyder cut.
Isn't that cute? But it's wrong!
Oh yeah, or one that you can almost tie into it. How would you know that the Snyder cut is better than the theatrical cut? Well, fuck, I don't know. Have you ever watched a Snyder movie before? That's the bullshit that I just want to slap some people. If I saw one of these people in person, I'd slap them upside their fucking head. Because if you think...
Jesus Christ, Shane. You're getting awfully violent. I don't know why, but all of a sudden you are very violent this week.
I would waterboard the shit out of him. No. Oh, too far? Too far. Okay.
Jesus Christ. All right. So we're going to talk about... Go ahead.
But, like, it fucking blows me away. If you watch a Snyder movie, any Snyder movie, and then you watch the theatrical version, you know this is not his film. You don't have to be a huge Snyder fan. Watch any of his films and then watch Justice League, and you would know, no, this definitely is not a full Snyder film. There's bits and pieces in there. There's glimmer of hope, pun intended, that was fucking ripped away, and that's pretty much all we got. But if you think that the theatrical cut is the final version, then you are a fucking moron, and you need to be punched.
God damn. Or waterboarded.
Yeah, at the very
Chinese
least.
torture.
I mean,
get your fingernails pulled. All whatever else.
I'm not saying death. I mean, don't kill the person, but at least torture them a little bit, because like we're being tortured by your stupidity.
Vote for Shane for governor.
We lost him on the other end.
Yeah, you're gonna get cut off by the NSA,
right?
Anyway.
FBI.
Whatever, I don't know. The fucking air traffic control. I don't know. Somebody.
Somebody's gonna tap in. I would laugh if the FBI actually cut off our shit. You listen to this?
What the fuck is wrong with you? Oh, so again, what Shane said, if you just watch any Snyder film, you know this is not a Snyder film. If you know anything about the characters, you can tell it's not a Snyder film. Just look at the characters. Just look at the difference between Batfleck. His body is changing constantly throughout the movie because it's the reshoots. It's such alterations from what it originally was. His body's changing. Obviously, the mustache is another big one. Look at the trailers. You can see how much things are altered just from the trailers. The color grading alone is a big change. Snyder himself, hashtag, who is the Russian family? He didn't know anything about the brunch joke. That's another one that came up a while ago. He doesn't know anything about the movie at this point, other than the small scenes he did and the things he originally wanted in the movie. In his cut, that were in his version of Justice League. How you can even remotely think this is his version is just beyond me. And I also think that you actually think that there's a 2-hour version of a Snyder movie?
Again, if you've even heard of Zack Snyder, you should know that that is impossible. Unless it's butchered and fucking released in the theater.
The man does not do short movies. He's not trying to pump out a 90-minute movie and shit like that. His shit's long, and it's hard. All right?
Yeah.
Gay!
Moving right along.
Look, you can't be serious, man. You cannot be serious!
So I actually put in our Twitter post, this is my favorite one. This is my favorite one. Because holy shit, does this really show the ignorance of the individual? When they... Are you yawning?
No way.
Are you yawning, motherfucker, while I'm talking?
Why would you say that?
All I heard... anyway.
I was fucking yawning. Oh, man. It's been a long week, but I'm shocked you heard that on the other line. I wonder if the mic picked it up at all.
We'll find out.
I didn't think I was that loud of a yawner.
Pretty sure that's like the third time you've done it. I've ignored the other one.
Oh, fuck. All right.
So if it exists, they would have already released it? Well, guess what? You haven't been paying attention. Like, the ignorance of the individual that thinks that is somehow a possibility, just one does not understand director's cuts and just the history of Hollywood in general. I mean, how many director's cuts do you get years down the road? Look at Blade Runner. It took like 30 years. 30 years to fucking get the version that Ridley Scott wanted in 5 different iterations. 5 different versions. Why would they undermine their own version that they apparently strive to get so hard to copy Marvel? Why would they undermine their version so quickly? That makes absolutely no sense. What the hell is wrong with you? What the hell is wrong with you? Oh, also, if it existed, they would have released it in theaters. Why wouldn't they release his version in theaters if it was all ready to go and done? Because they didn't like his version. That's what it comes down to. That's what it comes down to. They want Marvel. Snyder isn't going to do Marvel. What is so hard to understand about this? Geoff Johns is quoted saying, I work with so many talented people. So there's people that love it and understand it and embrace it. And then there's people that don't know that you want to help them learn it. and you want to tell them why a certain storyline for certain character might not work, or why a take on a character might not work, or what Superman really should be. This is from Geoff Johns in July of 2017. To July, when they really started doing those reshoots. This guy, Geoff Johns, disagrees completely with how Snyder handled Superman. So, of course, he's gonna change. He's the head. He's gonna change what fucking Justice League was. He doesn't like Zack's version. Whether he's right or not that it's gonna be better or worse, whether Cavill's right that it was done better in theaters or not, we don't know, and we'll never know because that's just how it's going to be, because they released this version. Geoff Johns fundamentally has a disagreement with how Snyder did this, and he's one of the top producers of the film. Same thing with a lot of other people that were at the top. They disagreed how Batman vs. Superman's reception was, so of course they're going to alter the film. As soon as the guy was gone, they're going to do as much as they can to alter the film into what they think is a successful film.
Fucked. We're not fucked. We are totally fucked. And not just fucked. Like elephant dick, pounding the ass, no reach around junk.
One of the things to kind of tie into what Matt was saying about the fact that Zack Snyder does films differently, that he doesn't do what the studio essentially wanted. Deborah Snyder, actually don't know where this quote was coming from, just shared a bunch, so that's how I found it. But she said, our films have always been polarizing, and they've always been risky choices, and that's exciting. For me, I would rather make a film that people talked and argued about than a film that no one cared about. Fucking mission accomplished right there.
Oh, mission accomplished? Well, a George W. sort of way.
And even someone on one of the posts that I saw, someone commented and said, oh, Batman v Superman wasn't that good. And then other people were like, well, you're just proving her fucking point. Right there.
They're still talking about it.
Yeah, exactly.
No one gives a shit about Infinity War at this point. They're still talking about Justice League. They're still talking about Batman versus Superman. They still talk about Man of Steel. Just to throw in Jay Oliva here, the commander-in-chief of the Snyder Cut movement here. This one gentleman, of course, says they would have released it by now if it existed. And Jay Oliva said, Colin, if that's your only reason for why you think it doesn't exist, then you are very naive. There are a lot of reasons why, but those reasons don't prove that Zack's cut doesn't exist.
Gotcha, bitch!
You serious?
So one of the ultimate troll answers right here. One of the best ones. I love this one. They'll say, it doesn't exist, but if it does, it's shit.
You are a sad, strange little man, and you have my pity. Farewell.
Oh, man, dude. I get it. There's some lonely people out there. You know, the basement gets cold, and they need to, build up some adrenaline to kind of warm up because mama doesn't want to give them a space heater. They kind of start making shit up, and like this has got to be one of the dumbest, if not the dumbest, really. I mean, intellectually, this is just really, really stupid.
Coming from two intellectuals.
That's my credo. No regret.
Yeah, I as I put in one of our tweets to somebody, I graduated from Double Wide University, all right? That one just fascinates me. We can't rebuttal this one necessarily, but that one is truly sad because that's just a lonely person that just has no ability to come up with like their own narrative. I'm just going to say something that I know will piss off one or two people, and maybe they'll talk to me because I need a hug.
Yeah, exactly.
I just need interaction, human interaction.
And I'm going to give one of the most mature responses ever. Your face is shit.
Sit the fuck down.
That's all I got.
Because you're failing in your liberal arts degree. So you have to justify it by talking shit to people that you've never met and that you would never say to their face.
One of our followers is going to be like, hey, I had a liberal arts degree, assholes.
Oh, I'm sure there's somebody who's going to. But good luck with that. Let me know how that works out. I'll sell you the show one of these days when you make all that money from that liberal arts degree. $10 straight cash or a coupon at McDonald's.
Damn, you think our show's gonna be worth $10 at one point? Nice.
It's got to hit the plus someday.
Yeah, the same day we get approved to monetize.
Just lonely individuals. There's nothing to refute because like that means you just don't like Zack Snyder movies. But to really just contradict yourself, like it doesn't exist. Like you're so confident it doesn't exist. But if it does, it's shit. Awesome. Just fantastic. The way that brain works, you're going to go far. You're going to go far, my friend.
It's the coolest fucking story I've ever heard in my entire life. That's insane. Can I hear it again?
And I think this is Shane's favorite one.
Yes. Makes me laugh.
This one, again, lack of knowledge, lack of understanding how Hollywood works. Yeah, I understand somewhat of the argument, and I kind of somewhat quarterly agree with it in some sense. There is a lot more to it than just the dumb comment that they make. But what made this actually really, the reason why we saved this till the end was because when I put the post up on Twitter, I was hoping, people would throw a couple ideas our way. What's the dumbest ones? What's some of the best ones that you've heard for the most part? And after I asked for the reasons, dude, they aren't going to put more money in a movie that lost them money in the box office. That's not how that works.
Right.
And I didn't know whether or not the person was... Actually, I kind of had an idea that they were serious. But I put, perfect, thank you. I'll add that to the list of dumb reasons. Gave him a good little winky face.
Yeah, Mr. Bean winky face. It fucking makes it better. I actually didn't think that they were serious until I saw them on another post, and they also commented again.
Their comment saying, that's not a dumb reason. It's a legit common sense reason. You have to be an idiot if you think the movie is going to come out with his Snyder cut. That's how business works. Sentence doesn't really quite make sense that much. I guess you think the movie, I think he means the studio,
right,
is going to come out.
But that's legit common sense that the movie is going to release its own movie.
And that's how business works. All right, so let's click on the profile. Look, he's a liberal arts major. No, nothing in there about it, but I'm sure this person, they contribute a lot to society, and they're very important to the integral system of our economy.
No.
Well, just to kind of talk about his common sense reasons. Yeah, okay. A company isn't going to spend money on something they lost money on. It's a fundamental thing. Yeah, most businesses do. But here's the thing. When it comes to Hollywood, it's a little bit different. It's a little bit different because it's not unheard of that they release director's cuts of films that don't do as well in the box office. As a person put below here, Kevin VJ Fury Firestorm, at Firestorm Fury, which actually helped us a lot in the live stream.
Yeah, I think so. I was like, man, I kind of recognize this name, but my brain is slow. now it just pieces it together.
And he put, Watchmen either lost money or made around $5 on its theatrical run. You can currently find 3 different versions of that film. Watchmen lost money. It did not make its money back. Plus, if you look, there's 3 different studios involved with the distribution of Watchmen. So that means that $5 that Kevin Firestorm's bringing up here got split up 3 ways. And again, it didn't make enough to break even because then you got production, you got what the theaters take. Okay, so when you're looking at the numbers for Watchmen, domestically, its overall run in theaters, $107 million. International box office, $79 million. Total, $186 million. Estimated domestic DVD and Blu-ray sales, $65 million on the DVD, $35 million on the Blu-ray, a total of $100 million. $286 million total. And that is split up 3 ways between the 3 different studios that were distributing the movie. Now, when you actually deduct the cost that the theater gets from the box office, because WB and the other two don't get the 186 million, that part of that goes to the theater, so they roughly get about half of that. Watchmen did not make its money back. It was not a profitable movie, but yet, as Firestorm pointed out, we have 3 different versions. We have the director's cut, and then we have the ultimate cut, which adds additional animation to it as well, which got to be costly as well. Then you got Sucker Punch as well, another Zack Snyder movie. Again, did not make money, did not pull even with marketing, with the theater costs and everything. They released a director's cut as well of Sucker Punch. And I get people listening to this that disagree with us, that trolling, they're probably going to say, well, see, Zack Snyder can't make a profitable movie. Well, if he was allowed to actually put out his movie, we might find out. When he does put out his movie, he gets a fairly good chunk of change. 300, Man of Steel, Dawn of the Dead, those movies made money. But when he gets chopped down with Watchmen, Sucker Punch, even BVS probably didn't make as much as it could have if they would have had his version in there. And then you look at Justice League. The studio destroys Zack Snyder movies. Even a Screen Rant article, when I was looking this up, it says, poor Zack Snyder. The guy just can't seem to get a break. He's one of those directors who people like to pick on. Again, they're talking about how his movies get cut down. Sucker Punch, Watchmen, and how they were at a loss. The whole point of this Screen Rant article was 12 movies drastically improved by a director's cut. And 2 of the movies on here are Zack Snyder movies.
I think Jay Oliva puts it incredibly well, of course. He says, there is a Snyder Cut. WB will release it if there's money to be made. Look at all of the directors and extended cuts of films that didn't make $1 billion. Hell, WB is one of the leading studios who puts out multiple editions of the same film. And then he even links IMDb, and you can scroll through and see all the director's cuts. And yeah, there's a shit ton, talking about like Watchmen. I didn't know Batman Beyond Return of the Joker had a director's cut. I thought that was pretty funny. But you can scroll through and see all of them, all the movies that had extended cuts. And IMDb does a good job at kind of piecing it together and saying, hey, this is what the differences were. Some of them were, gore or things like that. And then obviously we also had the Richard Donner version that was released years later. My whole thing is, if they have the footage and you have such a huge franchise in Superman and Batman and Wonder Woman and the entire Justice League, you're going to release it. This isn't some run-of-the-mill bullshit film. And even, I mean, you could say, I'm not saying Sucker Punch is a run-of-the-mill bullshit film, but that one is lesser known, and a whole lot of people really cared for it all that much, and that one still got an extended version. So why would something that has all of these people, it wouldn't surprise me if this had fucking 6 versions that came out, and they were just teasing and continued to release, here's this one with this collector's case, which we have had that already, but and then here's ones with fucking figures or whatever the hell. Different things like that.
Here's one with a piece of Zack Snyder's hair.
Exactly. I'll be buying that one. So it's
pubic hair.
Yeah. Again, I'd pay more for that.
Probably shaves.
So that's the thing that it just boggles my mind. I don't fucking get it. Of course, yes, I get it. If you look at something business wise, the studio should say, "Oh, that didn't make its money back. Let's just forget about it and move on." But they haven't done that historically. They have tried to milk every little bit of money they can out of films like Sucker Punch and like Watchmen that didn't make all that much money. And then you look at something like Justice League that is a solid franchise with solid characters, and you think that for some reason they're not going to release a extended version of that movie. That's what is crazy to me.
The Blu-ray sales can recoup a lot of loss. There's obviously ways too that they can distribute the movie in a way that would be the least cost effective. Digital download, putting it on the streaming service. They could do both those. They could do maybe a mandatory 6-month trial with the we talked about this, but the mandatory 6-month trial with the streaming service, so that's $60. That's pretty much $60 right there, and you lock people into your streaming service and hopefully keep them. If you charge a little bit more for the digital download, maybe $25, $30, again, doesn't require a lot. There's a little bit of marketing, but then it's all digital. That's the point. That's the day and age we are. They don't have to do hard copy. I understand that people would prefer hard copy over these other ones, but as soon as that blows up, maybe then we can get the ultimate, the ultimate cut by the end, and it would have a hard copy sell, because then they would recoup a lot of those losses. There's an easy way to do this. Jay Levy even says, if they released it, I'd buy it. It's not like there isn't a market for it. Look at all the other director's cuts and extended cuts like Lord of the Rings, Harry Potter. I prefer buying those than theatrical cuts most of the time because they tend to have more special features and insight.
I am shocked. Shocked. Well, not that shocked.
Yeah, common misconception is that the people who are pushing big into the release of Snyder Cut movement are saying, oh, we want Zack Snyder to go back to the helm and finish what he had started. No, we want the studio to release what they have because we know that is legitimate enough and is a damn near full cut. Everything aside from maybe CGI and the score.
So that wraps up our top 6 plus 1 dumbest Snyder Cut arguments that we hear out there, that we see all the time. This was for fun. We weren't going to go into too much detail, even though we kind of did go a little bit of detail on some of it, but this was more for fun than anything. It just makes us laugh. Don't take these people serious. I don't know why people engage a lot of these motherfuckers. If they're pretty much saying this stuff, they have no clue. There is no changing their mind. They're lost.
Yep.
They're lost.
Exactly.
In case I don't see you.
Good afternoon, good evening, and good night.
Congratulations, you made it to the end of the video. You're one of very few to make it to the end.
Yes, thank you very much.
Make sure you hit that like button and subscribe to Comic Movie Marks Podcast and hit the notification bell. All these fucking YouTube channels say this shit, so I'm going to say it now.
Yes, it's perfect. And if you want to hear our full podcast, you can check out our podcast on iTunes or any other podcast subscription service.
Make sure you subscribe. Thanks again.
Yo!